In this video I want to talk to you about warping to moons. So there's two main reasons why you might want to warp to moons. And first is as an escape point. Most pilots don't have moons up on their overview like this. So if you do warp to moons, it takes them an extra couple seconds usually to realize that you are warping to moons and also to warp to that moon. The other choice is, okay, we got an example here maybe. So there's an onyx on the other side of this gate. How about that? He didn't do a focus point. That's interesting. So I need to remember that. Alright, so let's find a moon to align to. I'm safely away. So what I did right there was I selected the moon to align to. So a lot of cases, it would have been better off for me to maybe go... For example, sometimes the only warpables are warpables that will take you across your enemies and therefore get you scrammed. And you don't want to get scrammed. So if you bring up the moons, you bring them up by hitting Alt-Shift-X. So there it went away. There it's back, Alt-Shift-X. If you bring up the moons, then you have more possible warp twos. They're harder for the enemies to find, and they're also good align twos. If you jump into a camp, you can align to them in many cases, and then once you're aligned to them, you can string your opponents out and always have that as your warp two for your escape. I'm a little bit absent-minded here because I'm trying to play with these guys. They're no big threat. They're not scramming me, so they're either don't know what they're doing, or I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump back through, and I can't fight this. I could kill the Serb or the Hurricane if they were alone, but I'm not gonna be able to get them alone. So I'm just gonna make my way out of here. Maybe they'll bring something else that I can play with, but okay, because I'm scrammed, I need to get back to this gate. Might be in a little bit of trouble.
The capacitor is empty. A module has run out of charges.
And I'm out. Gotta give him a lull.
The capacitor is empty. Warp drive active.
I was going to kill that Dramiel, but it's not a good setup. So what I need to do is take him one more gate, get my capacitor reloaded, get a few reps in. This is not, my AAR is not reloaded and ready, but those other bigger ships are going to warp slow, and several of them are aggroed. So now I'm just going to try to maximize my separation of this Dramiel and everything else. Alright. So this is a kill I can get. Probably shouldn't have locked him so fast.
The capacitor is empty. A module has run out of charges.
Just got to warp before the Cinnabal gets here. I've got this guy.
A module has run out of charges. Warp drive active.
Sweet. I'll take it. See how good he was. How expensive. Not all that much. That's lower than it really is because the ship's worth more than that. So, but he's nothing bling on there. So, but warp him to moons is good in a lot of cases. You can use it for lines to get out. I think I used it to a line out one time. It's just a good overall tip. I didn't expect that fight to happen, so my video kind of got messed up. But who knows? Maybe that's going to make this video a little better. And that's probably the end of the video. I'll add more to this video if I get more kills, then I'll add it. Otherwise, the main lesson here was Alt-Shift-X, and it got kind of buried. It always does when I try to make this video. I've done it like 5 times, and I always end up either getting in a fight and having to run because it's a blob, or getting in a fight and getting a kill like I just did there. So Alt-Shift-X brings them up. And then once they're up, you can warp to them. One thing to be careful about is watch for pauses. So control towers with guns and stuff. Typically, if you're in a smaller ship, like cruiser or smaller, you're going to be able to land and warp off before it can lock you. Even most battle cruisers are going to land warp off before anything can lock you or hurt you. But keep in mind, you don't want to just sit at a moon. So moons are only things you want to bounce off of. You go and then you immediately bounce off of. There are ways to throw your enemy off. If your enemy has a bunch of interceptors, you don't want them to see where you warp and then follow you. So you either want to choose a cluster of things and go to that cluster, or you want to go to a moon where most people aren't looking at moons. Most people don't have moons up on their brackets. So it's a great way to throw your enemies off and to find extra align tos and extra escape paths. So that's it for this video, unless I get more fights. If so, I'll add them on.